Gramps Morgan was in town this week and talking up the upcoming Morgan Heritage Tour with Beenie Man, billed as the King and the Royals.
The King and the Royals merging roots reggae and dancehall on one stage, potentially a marketing masterstroke with a fun factor, and definitely a different tack to take for two seasoned acts, imagining a fresh way to package their performances for concert goers.
See both artists on stage at the same time, one who's a reggae monster, one who's a dancehall monster, and it's going to give people a chance to see something different.
Reggae Land in the UK this August crammed with top-flight Jamaican names, but the King and the Royals as an unusual concept very much holding its own, if not the standout billing. Are you sending a message that linkages and more strategic thinking is what the business needs?
Absolutely. Very good point. It's like when NBA players want to join and make a super team. Some of them take a pay cut, and we are at the point in our career was like, we've been there, done that. What else is new that you can see different from Beenie Man that you haven't seen before? What's new that you've seen from Morgan that you haven't seen before? And I think this is going to do that. And I think that's where the kids and this next generation is feeling, where something new has to be done, something new has to be said. And I think that's where you see a lot of the dancehall music going with the trap thing. And for me, I think it can be done in a way where we preserve that original, authentic dancehall sound, while some of the emperors and all of these great dancehall artists can mentor these artists that this is the way to ride that rhythm. Yeah, this is sound system culture, to show the kids that it can be done, but put these new kids with this newfound energy in that direction. This is a success, and I'm praying that it is, because we still have to show proof of concept. But I think we already have done that by selling out one night of Reggae Land, where we are headlining it. And it's not only people coming to see Morgan and Beenie Man, but it shows potential what could happen. And we want to give this as a platform, a proof of concept that maybe we can see Anthony B and a Shensia on tour, or a Christopher Martin and a Romain Virgo on tour at theaters. Let's not go to arenas, because maybe you're not there, Romain Virgo or Christopher Martin, so let's do a theater. You can see a Gramps Morgan and a Mikey Spice and a Bushman doing a tour where it's intimate, 500 seaters. So I pray that's such a great question, Anthony, because I pray that this would be an example to show the unity of what can be done and give the fans something different. But what it would do for the reggae and dancehall lovers is to say, hey, reggae is winning. And it showed that, and I'm using Reggae Land, I don't mean to give Reggae Land talk about persistently, but it is the most valuable thing that has happened to reggae and dancehall in a long time. Most recently, where a reggae show 2 days sell out 100,000 tickets in 4 hours. That shows the impact that even after they had to add another day with Burna Boy and Massacre, that it became a thing like, why don't you put Massacre on the second day? But they already had those shows lined out. But I don't know if Burna Boy wanted, Burna, did you want a piece of the pie? I don't know, but it's called Reggae Land. It's not, hip-hop land or R&B land or Afrobeat land.
Gigs like Rotterdam Sunsplash in Spain and Reggae Land in the UK pointing the way for how festivals could package and present the music here.
So they know the elements, what makes our music successful. What I think is missing, Anthony, is that the infrastructure of how we present our music is not being paid attention to enough. There's one and two that you see, like Reggae Sumfest is like no other. Kudos to Scatta and Joe Bogdanovich and Robert Livingston and the entire team at Sumfest. When you see the presentation, we see what Cartel's show was like, we seen what Buju presented with Long Walk to Freedom, the Chris Brown show, and I think people like Live Nation are going to start looking at Jamaica to say, if my artist is on tour and he's passing Atlanta, coming down to Orlando and he gets to Miami, Jamaica is a viable stop where I can send an Adele to maybe sell 25,000 tickets, because Kingston is now starting to open up as an audience. When you're seeing the Chris Brown come here, you're seeing the Burna Boy come here, you see what Buju Banton did, you see what Vibes Cartel did, that big numbers at good ticket prices. So Jamaica is going to be on the map in a serious way in the future.
On the reggae iTunes chart, new music the exception to the rule. Legacy acts like Bob Marley and Sean Paul ruling the roost, even with TikTok calling the shots.
I remember DJ Khaled saying, I like what Drake like. I think most of the industry should be saying, I like what the Marleys like, because there's some things what they're doing is effective, that works, and consistency of organizing. And I think a lot of the big problem in our industry is the organization, making the right contacts. And I hear people use this word doorkeeping all the time. It's not about that. It's if you're willing to show up on time.
Gatekeeping or...
Yeah, you hear those things all the time. And I always remember Shaggy saying to me that if you have an interview at 4 o'clock, if you show up at 4, you're late. And I took those little things. I'm here, Beenie Man say one time, say, yo, me not stop work till me dead. You know, and I'm like, you have to put in the work. And a lot of people, because how fast the system is, when you're on TikTok or you're on Instagram, the attention span of the average person is 4 seconds. Now, if you do that type of data and understand, say, you need to have a product in front of these fans that's going to hold their attention for more than 10 seconds. So that is a big problem.
How many of those hats you have?
These hats, I have about 8 or 9 of them, yeah, but they're very expensive. It's that these take 3 to 6 months to make, and I fell in love with one day, and I was like, this is fun, and I don't know, it's comfortable. And disclaimer, I do have my hair. I'm not going bald. So here it is for the first time on Anthony Miller ER. I'm not going bald.